is that the only way that the uniparty hacks can fund is by open borders.
What are you saying? Uniparty hacks? Your president is the #1 uniparty hack. He's putting Marco Rubio in charge of the fucking State Department. Like, what are you talking about? These guys live on an alternative plane of existence. Anyway, yeah, let's get started with Charlie Kirk pouring honey on another goat, Uncle Shaky Gerger.
Listen to the Young Turks. The Young Turks had it right. They should have went full economic populist, and they should have promised UBI, universal basic income. They should have went full anti-billionaire class.
Oh, and Social Security.
They should also said, you know what, Donald Trump is right on immigration, but these are the things wrong with it. They should have went full socialist nationalist. You know,
bro went. They should have went full socialist nationalist, which is wild. Okay, on the one hand, he's recognizing that like left-wing economic sentiment is popular, but also simultaneously he just said like the Democrats need to go full. I was waiting for you to go live, Peach Babe 2. I'm here, Peach Babe 2. That's a crazy fucking thing to just openly say. Yeah, he should have gone full socialist nationalist, you know? Or maybe some people might call that national socialist. Just a little national socialism. What's wrong? That's never been tried before.
Social Security.
You know what I'm saying though? Like expand Social Security, universal basic income. They should like that would have been dangerous for us to run against.
Totally.
Instead, again,
instead they got
No, we talked about this on Friday. We talked about having a populist
we did
off.
with Biden though. I'm
Look,
sorry, bro.
all you have to do is like look at Denmark. Denmark is a country. Their left-wing party has been in power forever. All they had to do is bite the bullet and say, "Okay, we're doing an immigration pause. Just pause immigration," and suddenly you can get away with so much more social democratic stuff.
Yeah, but here's
single payer, all of that. You just
yeah, totally. Yeah, the one thing that was stopping Americans from doing socialism was the immigration. That's right. Yeah, any day now, chat. Any day now, we're gonna have bountiful social democracy. Any moment now, dude. It's slated to happen. Trust, dude. Trust. These people have fucking. I mean, they don't believe what they're saying either. Honestly, the only part that is important about this commentary that I think holds weight is that they also personally recognize the dangers of left-wing economic populism. That's the only thing you should take seriously. That's it. They know how hard it is to go up against left-wing economic populism, a resounding message that hyper-focuses on people's material realities and addresses them and, personally has real actionable solutions that will make people's lives better. There is no counter to that from the Republican Party. But luckily enough for the Republican Party, they don't ever have to counter that because the Democrats are not interested in that whatsoever. Yeah, better example, New Deal era Democrats held the U.S. House for more than 60 years. Mid-30s to the mid-90s. Stavi on Theo's podcast again and talked about Trump. Oh, yeah, this was fantastic conversation. I want to go on Theo Vaughn's podcast as well. I think it'd be a cool back and forth. I have heard some sussy shit from him a little bit, but I've heard some sussy shit from him, but overall I think it's good to speak to someone like that. I think he's overall very open-minded.
the bullet and say it's okay to restrict immigration and not make it this deranged priority to replace the citizens of your own country and gloat about it and how you're like getting a better group of people in. If you don't do that, you can win elections.
But Blake,
the Young Turks had it figured out. Just one sec. I'm telling you, Cenk and Anna Kasparian, they were nice having them on the show. They saw it, and I was like, geez, if they run that campaign, that's dangerous. I hope this gets clipped up and sent to them because they were completely ignored by the Democrat Party. Like, completely ignored.
Oh, they were put in a corner.
And exactly. And they were the only ones that understood.
You would not be beating the anti-Semite allegations if you went on that pod, brother. No, I think that first of all, Gabor Mate's been on that podcast. Bernie Sanders and Gabor Mate. So that's crazy. Like, I can't, like, that is why it is such a wild situation that man went from talking to Gabor Mate to being like, Yeah, I don't really understand. It means like left-wing Jews are controlling the media to do it. I don't know. How the fuck do you do that? How do you, like, there is not any time lost in between that process. Like, that shit is kind of alarming. But in any case, it's bizarre as hell because Charlie Kirk's political instincts are cheeks. No, I think these guys understand that left-wing economic populism is resilient and strong and popular and would be a real fight that they would have to go up against. But Republicans are so lucky that they never have to fight against that. And then they can always fight on their own terms by constantly making a big fuss about hyper-specific, marginalized populations that have no counter messaging platform and no strategy to advocate for their humanity. Okay? It's fantastic. Democrats never give them something to fight against because Democrats don't fight for anything. That's it. Like, on the simplest term, if you don't want to think about the underlying material harm and what the Democrats must do to go against their own corporate benefactors to solve some of these systemic issues, if you don't want to talk about policy like that, think about it in the simplest terms possible. If the Democrats give something to the Republicans to fight against, if the Democrats don't do that, because Democrats themselves are also reactionary, so they end up getting dominated by the Republicans. They end up getting dominated by the Republicans over and over again. Didn't work for abortion, though. Is this really different? Brother, what are you talking about? The abortion issue is exactly what I'm talking about. The Republicans undermined civil liberties for Americans across the board. 50% of Americans lost their opportunity to be able to get this medical procedure done, all right? They removed from entire chunks of the population, especially in red states, women's bodily autonomy, right? They took that away. And then liberals came up after that and tried to fundraise off of that. That's another example of the Republicans pushing the boundaries, pushing the political conversation, pushing people's understanding of American politics further and further into the right. Democrats played catch up in that situation. If they actually had a solution for it, they would have actively whipped the votes and instilled a moral panic towards abortion a long time ago. They would have utilized the bully pulpit and would have gotten enough assurances, okay? And they would have turned around. They would have turned around and they would have secured the people's right to get medical coverage. Anyway, what is this? Dan Saltman mentioned in a P. Diddy article. Rumors swirl that Diddy and Ashton Kutcher used Tiny Chat to flirt with underage girls. The celebs helped Tiny Chat raise $1.5 million before Diddy's September 2024 arrest. What? In addition to acknowledging the actors, Mike covered this. In September 2024, Sean Diddy Combs was arrested following a string of sexual assault and domestic abuse allegations. In addition to acknowledging the actor's ties to men who allegedly engaged in predatory behavior, the celebs' joint involvement. Tiny Chat is also being called into question. A TikTok account claimed Ashton Kutcher and Sean Diddy Combs invested in the platform to chat with underage girls freely. I mean, this is Distractify. I don't know how valid this is. Diddy and Ashton Kutcher have been accused of flirting with teenage girls on Tiny Chat. In 2011, Kutcher and Combs were two of Tiny Chat's earliest investors. Per its business profile, the company was founded by Cole Turner, Martin Redman, and Daniel Saltman. Damn. Destiny's podcast co-host. And Mr. Adpocalypse is definitely happening. I promise you. Why don't you guys understand? Look at how many times we've posted on LSF. And Michael Stern, according to TechCrunch, Combs and Kutcher helped other investors, including Madonna's former manager, Guy Ozeri, raise $1.5 million to get the video chat service comparable to Chat Roulette off the ground. The site was first tested in 2009 and included live chat rooms. However, according to September 27, 2024 TikTok user from I'm Not Famous Anymore, they used the account for sinister reasons. The account claimed the celebs would often flirt with teenage girls. I mean, this is not valid evidence. I don't think there's a lot of, you got a pretty smile for a girl with those dimples, Combs tells the fan in the clip. Wait, what? Come on, this is a different guy. Wait, no. Dan Saltman, the same Dan Saltman that has been doing the Twitch Adpocalypse shit, is the guy who is the owner of Tiny Chat. I think it's the same guy, isn't it? Yeah, no, he did make... No, Dan Can't Stream, Dan Saltman is the guy who made Tiny Chat. That's correct. What is this? Got any plans December 8th? What does that mean? Why so ominous? When people say stuff like that, I just don't understand. Like, what are you going to kill me? That's the lookalike contest thing? Oh, okay. Okay. No, I do have plans that day. Yeah, no, he owns this. He owns Tiny Chat. It was like, it's definitely his. That part is not shocking. And the fact that Diddy was fundraising for it alongside Ashton Kutcher, that's also not that shocking. Rich people invest in a whole bunch of stuff. The part of this that makes it weird, the part of this that would make it weird is if Diddy was actually using the website to talk to minors. But even then, there's no assurances that Dan Saltman personally knew that Diddy was using it to do such a thing. So unlike people who routinely lie about me and use any and every opportunity to slander me, attack everyone in my orbit regularly, I'm not going to participate in that sort of thing. So despite the fact that yes, Dan Saltman does own Tiny Chat or did own Tiny Chat and fundraise off of Ashton Kutcher and Diddy, I don't know if he knew the extent of how much Diddy was using it. It's not a good look, but until there's more evidence, I will hold off on jumping on this bandwagon. He has a whole long list of other shit you can criticize the dude for. No need to go into conspiracy shit. I mean, Tiny Chat is a weird website. Man, I don't really know enough about Tiny Chat to be very honest with you. Yeah. So, all right. Where was I? Oh, we were talking about Charlie Kirk giving props to Unc.
Like, you could have expanded the Democrat base. That would have been so scary to run against. If they would have run on like legalization of weed, universal basic income, strict immigration. I'm serious. Strict immigration, ending the wars, like the old Bernie Sanders portfolio.
Yeah.
Instead, Kamala went for the cheap corporate cash. And because everyone said you need to finance your campaign against Trump. And
well, here's the reason why, though, Charlie. and I think we figured this out, is that the only way that the uniparty hacks can fund war is by open borders.
What are you saying? Uniparty hacks? Bitch, your president is the #1 uniparty hack. He's putting Marco Rubio in charge of the fucking State Department. Like, what are you talking about? These guys live on an alternative plane of existence. They like fantasize that Donald Trump is actually this secretly based anti-war guy. And then they act like they're all shocked and shit when he's not. I guess it doesn't really matter. Like, they don't really care. They like the war that Donald Trump also facilitates, participates in. And yeah, I don't know. They just act like it's a real nuisance. Oh man, I am really upset. I am really personally upset that Donald Trump is continuing the wars, but like, I don't think he gives a shit. New leftist British meta drop. Check out Jimmy the Giant's video about the UK rights on YouTube. Right-winger turned leftist who seems to be on the exact same page as you. Incredible video. Maybe we'll look at it later.
It's very clear. They have to be able to fund the entire enterprise of war through this, or they're tied together, lockstep, at the hip. They have to do all of that, and that's what's being exposed right now, is that you have all these people who've committed themselves to war, and they've committed themselves to China and cheap labor. And so open borders, China, and big is them. That's them. And this is what Donald Trump has exposed. This is what this entire movement has exposed. And it's the most critical time that it could possibly ever happen, because if we had not won, who knows what would happen? We would have been in World War III, subservient to China for the rest of our lives, and we wouldn't have a culture here at all. There would be no American culture. It would be completely overrun. All that takes a step back, and we'd be able to move forward and continue to create an American culture that's important to the future of the country.
Okay, the last part of this was just like psychotic hallucinations. The only important takeaway from this is that Charlie Kirk and others within the Republican commentary field understand the value of left-wing economic populism, and when Republicans or when Democrats themselves do not value that, and fill the space with any sort of serious commentary or any sort of like reasonable policy prescriptions. Ultimately, the Republicans can lie about it. Yeah, don't watch that Jimmy the Giant vid. He thinks D's a leftist and praises him. I mean, everyone has their own journey of de-radicalization for looking at Destiny as a successful person that pulled them away from like right-wing radicalization. You never know how much these people ride or die for these content creators. Think about the average person who knows who the f I am, for example. They don't know everything about me. They don't know what my entire scope, or my entire worldview looks like. But regardless, did you ever see yourself slipping down a radicalization path? Certainly. Yes, I was a young man at a certain point.
People truly.
That is like prime for radicalization. Speaking of young men, or I guess older men now, Uncle Shaky Gurga, okay, Chunk Weigert, is in the crosshairs of Emma Vigeland, friend of the show, Emma Vigeland, because he said, I asked Elon Musk to put me in charge of cutting the Pentagon. And he said, what are your suggestions? I run the largest left-wing network online, and Democratic leaders have never asked me that question. The idea that they would take advice from a populace is disdainful to them. Now, which side seems to be more open and inclusive? Which side seems more welcoming? And which side tries really hard to drive you away if you disagree even a little with orthodoxy? Which side is asking for suggestions and which one is demanding compliance and obedience? Autism Capital says your pivot has been fascinating to watch. Yeah, Twitter algorithm loves this shit. Look at this, 52,000 likes, dude. Why is your uncle acting brand new? I don't know. I don't even for a second believe that any Republican will ever do something that is good. Okay. I just don't. I don't believe it. Like with the exception of like Thomas Massey, and I don't even know the full scope of his, sentiment and commentary. It's just like on the issue of Palestine, he seems to be pretty solid, but like, I just don't, outside of like certain pet projects, I just don't think that the Republican Party is even remotely interested in doing right by the American population. Like they are very good at identifying things that the broader American electorate care about, and they're very good at filling the space when Democrats refuse to personally push for it, right? That is the unfortunate reality of the Democratic Party, is that they refuse to do anything about it. I've never heard a Democrat be like, man, what do we got to do about this military budget? It's something that virtually every American that has heard about it is shocked by. There's a couple things that genuinely confuse people, okay? If you want to break the brains of the most normal, like the most politically normie guy, you can tell him two things. One, 32 states have made it illegal to protest peacefully against the state of Israel. You cannot boycott the state of Israel. You cannot demand sanctions for the state of Israel. And you cannot engage in any sort of divestment initiatives from the state of Israel. You will lose your job if you do so. You have to sign a petition in a place like in the state of Texas to be able to get a job in even a public school. That breaks every normie's mind. They're like, what? I thought America was a free speech safe haven. What the are you talking about? Okay. Another thing that breaks people's minds, if you want to break a political normie's minds, tell them about the fact that the Pentagon has like trillions of dollars that no one knows where it went. Okay. Trillions of dollars just missing. They will straight up be like, what are you saying? Failed 7 audits in a row. When you openly say that, they're like, oh my God, what the fuck? What are you talking about? How many trillions has the Pentagon not accounted for? Pentagon from responsiblestatecraft.com. This is back in 2023. Pentagon cannot account for 63% of the nearly $4 trillion in assets. The DoD regularly buys parts and equipment it doesn't need because it can't keep track of the parts and equipment it already owns. It sounds like a conspiracy theory, to be honest. I know it's not, but to a normie, I think it comes across like a conspiracy theory, but it's not. I mean, here, and if you want to understand like the way that the Democratic Party operates, here is fucking here's the leading progressive mainstream political commentator, Jon Stewart, a comedian, asking this exact same question. Here's what the response
A lot
is.
of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits and waste, fraud, and abuse are not the same thing. So let's decompose these pieces.
Please educate me on
Sure.
what
So an audit
the
is
difference
exactly what you just described,
Yes.
which is, do I know what was delivered to which place?
Right.
The ability to pass an audit, or the fact that the DoD has not passed an audit, is not suggestive of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is completely false right there. So
what is
now
it
it's a question of, it's suggestive that we don't.
Bro, can you imagine saying that to the IRS? Like, hey, excuse me, federal agent of the IRS overseeing my case. The fact that I cannot pass this audit that you have suggested does not mean that there is financial abuse or waste or fraud happening. You running ads again? My blocker is causing your stream to freeze? No, I'm not. I'm fully funded entirely by you guys who subscribe to me. Back in the day, you used to subscribe to avoid the ads. Now I don't run ads and you still subscribe because you want to support the show. But that is who funds this broadcast for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime. Thank you, Austin 737-482-8274 for the 5 community gifted subs. And Eighth Rose Tempest, thank you for the 20 community gifted subs. Thank you, Prio97 for the 5 gifted subs. And Drusas for the 5 gifted subs as well. And Flucky, thank you, Flucky. And Bobonot.
Have an accurate inventory that we can pull up of what we have where. That is not the same as saying we can't do that because waste, fraud, and abuse has occurred.
So in my world,
yeah,
that's waste.
How is that waste?
If I give you $1 billion and you can't tell me what happened to it, that to me is wasteful. That means you are not responsible. But if you can't tell me where it went, then what am I supposed to think? And when there has been reporting, I mean, this is not, look, I'm not saying this is on you and that you caused this, but I think it's a tough argument to
I'm pretty
make
sure
that
I didn't cause it.
an $850 billion budget to an organization that can't pass
a moon landing. The reason why I'm ignoring you, despite the fact that you gifted 5 gifted subs, is because the moon landing did not happen. Okay. And I'm fearful of coming to that recognition. I'm fearful of coming across like I even believe that the moon landing occurred when it clearly did not. Okay. That's it.
An audit and tell you where that money went. Like, I think most people would consider that somewhere in the realm.
Wait, Buzz Aldrin's gonna smack you? How about he fucking figure out his own goddamn life? Didn't he say he's pro-Trump? Isn't Buzz Aldrin pro-Trump?
Of waste, fraud, or abuse, because they would wonder
why
that money isn't well accounted for. And especially when they see food insecurity on military bases, and they see...
You want to talk about that? Because that's a good... we should be talking... I mean, where you're trying to go, other than the dollars, which really bother you.
I think it doesn't really bother me. I think it's all connected.
Okay.
I think
tell me that story. Tell me how you're thinking about that.
When I see a State Department get a certain amount of money and a military budget be 10 times that...
She's laughing at the concept of accountability. Your country's cooked. Brother, that's the military. What do you mean? Tim Pool's hairline ignores me too because I'm non-existent. Yeah, I mean, what's less existent, the moon landing or Tim Pool's hairline? It's Tim Pool's hairline. That's why I ignored your 5 gifted subs. Thank you, Tim Pool's hairline. Thank you, Freeman, for the 5 community gifted subs.
And I see a struggle within government to get people like more basic services. And then that department that got that, I mean, we got out of 20 years of war and the Pentagon got a $50 billion raise. Like, that's shocking to me. Now, I may not understand exactly the ins and outs and the incredible magic of an audit, but I'm a human being who lives on the earth and can't figure out how $850 billion to a department means that the rank and file still have to be on food stamps. Like, to me, that's fucking corruption. I'm sorry. And if that blows your mind, and if you think like that's like a crazy agenda for me to have, I really think that that's institutional thinking. and that it's not looking at the day-to-day reality of the people that you call the greatest fighting force in the world. So I get back to this idea of like, I'm not looking to pick a fight with you, but I am surprised at that the reaction to these questions are, you don't know what an audit is, bucko. Like, that's just weird to me.
Drone strike incoming, okay? The dismissiveness of the Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks in this clip is simply astounding. Jon Stewart points out the Pentagon keeps failing its audits, and she tries to laugh it off. This is the entrenched mentality the next Secretary of Defense will face. Yeah. If hundreds of billions of dollars not being accounted for and being seen as like impossible to audit over and over again is not indicative of waste, fraud, and abuse, what is? Like, this is a fantastic conversation to be having, because it's like you're basically undermining the concept behind why audits exist to begin with. You are just directly tackling the conversation on semantics by saying, why should there even be an audit? What are audits really? Who cares about numbers? Now, having said that, while this is a real issue, do I believe that, no, the Department of Government Efficiency is going to fix it? Fuck no. Elon Musk is a defense contractor. If you think that that is going to happen, you are delusional. That's it. And I am willing to be completely wrong on this. I am excited at the prospect of being entirely wrong on this prediction. But it's the same principle behind RFK Jr. They will advocate for good things and never do the good things. They will advocate for good things, but their solution is bad, okay? RFK Jr. says we have a health crisis in the way that we consume our food. He's right about that. But his solution is going to be putting a nuke on the FDA. Deregulation is not the solution. Moral regulation and correct regulation, adequate regulation is the solution to this problem, okay? This is why I don't even trust the Democrats, but you will never catch me trusting the Republicans. This is a big mistake that a lot of people who are regular critics, what the fuck's wrong with me today? Regular critics of the Democratic Party oftentimes end up losing their skepticism of the Republican Party. And it's dumb. It's dumb as fuck. If I'm skeptical of the Democrats and don't believe the Democrats, why the fuck would I ever believe the Republicans? The reason why I'm skeptical of the Democrats is because of their closeness to the Republic. This is something that I was very frustrated with when Glenn Greenwald would advocate for these positions early on before he went full tilt, right? Before he went full tilt right wing. Glenn Greenwald used to do this all the time. He would literally just like consistently hammer the Democrats. But then when it came to the Republican Party, he never had that same smoke for them. And it blew my fucking mind. I was like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, if you are angry at the Democrats, you should be unimaginably angry at the Republicans. What are we doing? So make no mistake. I hate to see Unc fall for this, okay? But you have to remember, if you are critical of the Democratic Party, but then you find yourself believing some of the things that the Republicans are stating, I don't know. It's like Bernie Sanders. He's talking about working with the Trump administration. It's like, no, you're not, dog. You ain't getting shit done. You understand me? He is not doing shit for you, okay? You barely got stuff done as a junior partner in the Biden coalition. You think Trump is going to fucking give you anything? That's crazy. I think this comes from a place of the Democratic Party legitimately pushing away people in its own base over and over and over again. That's it. That's what is happening here, okay? That's what happened in Dearborn. That's what happened with all the young men that went the Joe Rogan route. What happened to these young men? Where did they go? Well, there's an active and deliberate mechanism pushing everybody away. It's called the Democratic Party. And they're doing that because they don't want to win with these coalitions. They want to win on their own terms. And if they lose, it doesn't matter because that's going to yield a bountiful fundraising opportunity for them. All of the awfulness that the Republican Party will subject the American population to is, once again, in the simplest terms, a fantastic revenue opportunity. When I became a Democrat, it was the more tolerant party. Republicans were run by religious nut jobs and corporate robots. Now the Republicans are, in a lot of ways, the less tolerant party. The least tolerant part is actually the establishment wing of the party that says anyone opposing their anointed leaders is committing heresy. If you try to give them constructive criticism of the party to improve it, they drive you from the party while screaming, he's not a real Democrat. They hate populists. They have become the corporate robots I couldn't stand. They hate their base. They insult our intelligence by pretending that the donors are not in charge. They think we should be controlled and learn how to follow orders. And they have no idea how elitist they sound. Predictably, their unironic reaction to this post will be heretic. The issue with this statement is that, and I can't believe I'm repeating this, he's right about all of it. But there is a key detail that is being omitted from this, okay? Which is the Republicans are also run by the same fucking corporate masters. Elon Musk is the richest person on the planet and directly manipulated the outcomes of this election. He personally was invested in Donald Trump. What the fuck are we doing? Out of the top 10 mega donors, okay? Out of the top 10 mega donors, I think the top 7 in this election cycle that combined, I think, fundraised like almost $1 billion fucking dollars or whatever. Every single one of them donated to the Republican Party. Okay? Yes, we are uniparty in this country. Yes, abso-fucking-lutely, the Democrats are beholden to their corporate masters in the same exact ways that the Republicans are. But the notion that, like, one party is dishonest and you know, beholden to their corporate benefactors and oftentimes incredibly resistant to change, while the other party is also doing that exact same fucking shit, it just like makes no sense. It makes no sense. I think he's right in the sense that Republicans embrace anyone who claims to be a Republican, sex offender, or not, while Democrats hate progressives more than Republicans. Yes, this is true. And this needs to change. This is true, and it needs to change. And the Democratic Party is dog shit for doing this, okay? He's right about this. But I warn people, as I always have and always will, that this kind of thinking, if this kind of thinking leads you down the assumption that, like, well, there's some honesty in the Republican Party, and that's all you care about without thinking about the underlying issues of policy and underlying issues of the Republican Party's overarching ideology, their ideological interest in maintaining capitalism and being beholden to the same fucking corporate masters, but having the permission to be honest about that because of their position in the American duopoly, you are going to find yourself captivated by snakes in a different suit. This is not me advocating to hug and kiss and you know, hold on to the Democrats. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying we should forcibly change the trajectory and the ideological goals of the Democratic Party, the one party in our duopoly that is supposed to be the counterbalance to growing fascism. Okay? There will never be a moment where I will turn around and say, man, the Republicans sure are great. I despise the Democratic Party for its closeness to the Republican Party. Okay? This is something that I will always stand on. This is something that I will always advocate for. And I do not trust the Democrats when they say they're going to do fucking social safety nets. And that doesn't mean I'm going to trust the Republicans when they claim to do so. Okay? I certainly do not trust the fucking Republicans when they say they're going to cut down on, you know, military spending. The Republicans hard-won diversity is strictly used as a weapon and a shield when they actively work for racist policies. Jenks is getting duped while he is correct. It's not one or the other. You can and must disown them both. Yeah. And that is what makes the criticism of the left so unbearable, because they view it as shitting on them when in reality it's criticism to make things better. I know. A lot of people have no understanding of where I'm coming from, where they're so primed, so conditioned into thinking, oh, you're a naysayer. You fucking hate. You hate the Democrats. You're not a Democrat. You must be a Republican. That's what they say. And it's stupid, but the most outspoken parts of the Democratic Party's base of support have basically adopted this position, this framework. They do it. They do it in my chat. They do it on TikTok. I used to make fun of them all the time. I would ask them, show me your pay stubs. Is the DNC paying you? I have DNC operatives in my community. I talk to them. I debate with them. They openly will recognize that I'm right when, you know, history absolves me of the sin of criticizing the Democratic Party. Where are your pay stubs? For many, they simply jump on this talking point without really examining it, because that's what they've heard from mainstream outlets. That's the mainstream outlets that are pumping this narrative over and over again, and people have no way to deal with the issue. They have no way of examining or interrogating what's wrong with this sentiment, and they just kind of go along with it without thinking about it, and it's wrong. Do you not get behind Democrat policies that you like? I do. Of course I do, and I defend it. The Republicans are more reasonable at this point. Trump's economic policy is going to be better for America, and that's better for everyone. Yeah, you're totally right. Mass deportation of 20 million people that are participating in the American economy in very meaningful ways will certainly be better. Or tariffs being slapped on all consumer goods coming in from China with no adequate, domestic manufacturing substitute will certainly also be inflationary, but that'll be good for the economy as well. No. And before people say you're a racist monster to this chatter, no, this chatter in many ways is no different than the fucking average liberal who will defend the Democratic Party without ever questioning it. The average liberal that says like, oh, you don't understand, Gaza is going to be so much worse under Donald Trump. It's like, bro, the people that you're advocating for are currently pummeling Gaza. What are you talking about? A lot of people simply just repeat shit without thinking about it. And this is something that many people don't understand. Trump taps Dr. Mehmet Öz to serve as Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services Administrator. Oh my God, we got a Turkish goat in the building. Oh my God. Okay, dude. Put him in charge of Pennsylvania, dude. Okay, look, I don't like Mehmet Öz. Okay. I don't like Mehmet Öz at all, as you guys know. But I think I don't understand jokes or what is happening. Is this more terror support? These people are singing in scary language. Please stop. Yeah. Another instance of supporting terrorism once again for showcasing Mehter Marşı. The whole chat said I was nuts for saying Trump was significantly better on Ukraine and North Korea than the Democrats, and now Biden in the lame duck has massively escalated. I'm sorry, but I've been completely vindicated, and I would like my flowers. You won't address this because I'm correct. What? Donald Trump put forth like war hawks in the competent aspects of his administration. What the fuck are you talking about? You think Marco Rubio is going to be de-escalatory? No. America is the most uniparty when it comes to foreign policy, okay? Because American foreign policy is not dictated by ideological considerations. American foreign policy is dictated by capitalism and upholding capitalism. Okay, bro said he's going to end it. Yeah, okay, dude. He also said he's going to end the fucking... He's going to let Israel finish the job on Gaza. What does that mean? You think he's going to be better on fucking Gaza? You think he's going to be better for the Palestinians? Get the fuck out of here. Okay? America's interests in Ukraine have nothing to do with the emancipatory goals of Ukraine, ridding its national boundaries of Russian invaders, okay? America's goals is to offload all of their older fucking equipment and keep the fucking military engine running. It is in their best interest to continue the war for as long as Ukraine can hold out, for as long as Ukraine has people who can hold on to these arms and shoot in the direction of the Russian forces. America will continue to fucking escalate, and America will continue to fucking, give Ukraine weapons over and over again. While I disagree with, the long-range missiles, unless it's going to be a significant shift in this battle, and I don't think it will because of the reasons that I just gave you, okay? There is no ideological difference between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, okay? Emancipatory goals, LMFAO. No, I'm serious. Yeah, like you think America is invested in in the freedom of Ukraine? No, they don't. They don't care about that. That's not a real thing. That's never been a real consideration. Please, guys. Why do you think Trump's advent is motivated entirely by capital? Mass deportation contradicts that. The argument against mass deportation, or the argument against white nativist anti-immigrant sentiment, is that it's a wonderful mechanism to distract away from the real holders of capital, the real enemies of the American working class. And number two, the two-tier structure that is created within documented and undocumented labor is literally the most capitalist thing. It is capitalism in overdrive. It is hyper-exploitative. Without the proper paperwork, these people are purposefully put in a position where they're outside of the boundaries of the regular legal system where they can demand back pay and have some sort of recourse. The entire purpose of having this two-tier labor structure is for capitalist interests. If there was a real racist, white nativist, anti-immigrant purpose here, they would pull the Portland route, okay? Oregon was originally invented as a white enclave, so much so that they were anti-slavery. Why were they anti-slavery? Because they didn't want to be around black people that bad, okay? If someone was really that fucking racist, if there was a real, genuine racist priority here and not simply a capitalist one, they would be punishing business owners that knowingly hire undocumented labor. They will never do that, okay? They will never do that. Imagine deporting fucking corporate owners and executives for hiring migrant labor and farmhands. That would never happen in a million years. The entire system is designed in a way where you can use and hyper exploit these undocumented laborers. This depresses wages for every American across the board. Okay. It keeps the cost of goods relatively low, especially in the agricultural sector, for example. And then simultaneously, these people have no legal recourse. So then you call ICE on your own fucking labor force and you wipe them out. And then you go back to the same fucking veins and you tap a new fresh pool of undocumented migrant workers and you bring them to the same fucking trailer park that you now evicted a ton of undocumented laborers from. That's it. Is that also logic for tariffs? So we blame China for everything? I still don't understand why he pushes for tariffs. I think tariffs are supposed to be a substitute for all the tax cuts that are coming in. And it's also a mechanism for Donald Trump to influence the corporate, it's a mechanism to influence corporate leaders to terrify them with the threat of tariffs in their sector if they don't comply. That's what I think. So it's to clean the slate and reduce their wage prices. I think that mass deportation will not come in the way that you think it will. I think that they are going to forcibly enslave the undocumented laborers in private prison facilities that they will build and force them back to work at gunpoint, potentially. There's also a never-ending pool of undocumented workers that will always come to the United States of America. We have destroyed the global South, and, that is one of the many bountiful benefits of such a process. Both climate change and our direct intervention to the global South have created migration patterns that are impossible to combat unless you change trajectory on foreign policy in general. Okay? This has to be the craziest take I've ever heard you have. We are going to enslave people now. Come on, man. Brother, we already enslave people. It's called the 13th Amendment. Slavery as a form of punishment is not only legal and constitutionally protected. Californians literally voted to maintain slavery as a form of punishment this past election cycle by 53%. Okay? Now, of course, we don't frame it in that way because of Western chauvinism. We always say, oh, work camps, gulags, they only do that in Russia. Okay? They do that in, one chatter said Xinjiang. Yeah, they do that in China. They do that in Russia. They don't do that here. It's like, dude, we have literally the number one. We have the largest slave force on the planet. You understand that, right? We have direct state penitentiaries that are named after the plantation that they're placed upon, like Angola, the Louisiana State Penitentiary, okay, where the overwhelming majority of the prisoners are black. And yes, they literally pick cotton. Aren't they criminals? Wait, what? So you are fine with slavery. Got it. Okay. Yeah. The people in prison. Okay. We are going to be putting undocumented migrants in prison as well, and we will enslave them. Now you have arrived at exactly what I was saying. You are fine with slavery as a form of punishment. It seems like you understand exactly what we were doing. I don't think we are going to engage in mass deportation. I think we're going to engage in mass enslavement and then deportation, but deportation is too costly, so we'll kill them. That's what I think. Okay? If you want to know what the agenda looks like, well, I can only look back in history at a time when this happened before.